Hello, my name is Brad Keller, and today I'll be presenting the leadership theory that I believe fits me the best. The theory that I feel I relate to the most would be the path goal theory. As stated in the leadership experience, the path goal theory is a contingency approach to leadership in which the leader's responsibility is to increase followers' motivation by clarifying the behaviors necessary for the task accomplishment and rewards. One part of this that I would like to highlight is the fact that this is a contingency approach. This means that the style of leadership actually changes based on the situation. Instead of the leader using a consistent style, the leader must be fluid on how they lead to respond to the various situations they are in and followers that they are working with. The reason I feel I relate to this the most is because I use reward-based motivation in my position on a daily basis when it comes to managing distributor sales reps. I will, however, touch more on this later. The base of this theory is rather simple. Leaders have a choice of going down two different paths to reach the desired outcome. The first path that a leader can take is the clarify path. In this path, the leader will first define what steps the follower must do to attain the desired outcomes. Next, the leader will clarify the follower's work role. This will result in the follower having increased knowledge and confidence to accomplish outcomes. The result of this path is a more empowered follower who now holds a higher confidence in their work ability and therefore is more highly motivated to complete the task. This path is often chosen when working with followers who are newer to the organization or lack the self-confidence to complete the task they are required to do. The second path that a leader can take is the increase rewards path. In this path, the leader will first learn what the follower's needs are. This can be monetary needs, recognition needs, or professional development needs, to name a few. Once these needs are learned, the leader will match the follower's needs to rewards given once the outcomes are accomplished. Finally, the leader will increase the value of the work outcomes for the follower. This path is often chosen when there is a lack of motivation from a higher skilled employee. A great way to think of this path is the analogy of dangling the carrot. By putting the increased reward in front of the follower, they will become more motivated to perform at a higher level and accomplish the task to receive the reward. Next, we'll look at the leadership behaviors of the path goal theory. Richard Daft suggests that there is a fourfold classification of leader behaviors. This means that there are 4 different leadership styles that a leader can adopt depending on the situation they are in. Because this is a contingency theory, a leader using the path goal theory can potentially use all 4 of these leadership styles. The first leadership style that Daft describes is supportive leadership. The best way to explain this is that this style is highly focused on building relationships with your followers. Leaders using this style will show concern for followers' well-being and personal needs. Oftentimes, this will lead to the followers feeling the leadership is open, friendly, and approachable. This can also help develop a team climate within the organization as everyone feels that they are valued on a personal level. This style is often used to get followers to trust your leadership and make them feel comfortable and more open around the leader. The second leadership style is directive leadership. This is the most structured style as it is based on the leader telling their followers exactly what needs to be done. This requires strong planning, making schedules, setting performance standards, and stressing adherence to rules. This style of leadership is often used in situations where there might be some confusion about the job or how it needs to be accomplished. By using directive leadership, a leader can drive followers to complete the task exactly the way it needs to be completed. The third leadership style is participative leadership. This style is based mostly on open collaboration between the leader and followers. When coming up with solutions to the task, a leader implementing this style will oftentimes consult with followers about the decisions that need to be made. In addition, the leader will encourage team discussions and participation. This style is often used to make followers feel like they're more part of the team and make them understand that their opinions and input matter to the outcome of the task. The fourth and final leadership style is achievement-oriented leadership. I believe that Anderson describes this the best by saying that the leader pushes for excellence in work performance. Through this leadership style, the leader will set clear and challenging goals, in addition to stressing high quality performance and improvement. This style is oftentimes used on followers who you have confidence in and are working on developing into highly skilled employees. The next part of the path goal theory is the situational contingencies. These are environmental factors that can decide how the leader behaves in certain situations, along with which of the two paths should be taken. The first situational contingency is the personal characteristics of group members. This includes the follower's ability, skills, needs, and motivations. An example of why this is important would be if you had a follower who is motivated by money while already being highly skilled. This would be a situational contingency that would result in going down the increased rewards path. This is because it is understood that by providing a larger monetary incentive to that follower, they will work harder and become more effective in completing the desired tasks. The second situational contingency is the work environment. This is based off the degree of task structure, nature of authority system, and the work group as a whole. An example of this would be having to lead a team that is a lower level of education. Leading this team would take more of a directive leadership approach due to the followers likely needing more of a structured environment to stay on task. On the reverse side, if you're leading a team that is highly educated, you would want to use more of a participative leadership approach because the opinions and insights of the team will likely help towards the desired outcome. To build off the first situational contingency of the personal characteristics of group members, there are 4 follower characteristics that are laid out by Anderson. These follower characteristics show the types of followers that the leader may experience within their team. The first follower characteristics is need for affiliation. Simply put, this is a follower who needs to be a part of a team. They need to feel supported and cared for. These followers want to feel that the leadership cares about them. For this follower, a supportive style of leadership is often required as it helps build the team environment that this follower requires. The second follower characteristic described by Anderson is preferences for structure. Anderson describes this follower as a dogmatic authoritarian, or someone who strongly believes in rules, structure, and the traditional approach of followers doing exactly what the leader asks. It is obvious that the leadership style that works best for this type of follower is the directive leadership style. This is because the follower requires direction to get the job done. The third follower characteristic is desires control. Now, Anderson actually divides this characteristic between 2 different loci. The first is the internal locus, which is the follower who believes that we are in control of the events in our lives. Essentially, this is someone who believes that we decide what happens in our lives and we can decide our fate. This type of follower is best led with the participative leadership style, as it allows them to help control their outcome. The second part is the external locus, which is the follower that believes external circumstances determine our life events. This is someone who believes that what happens is out of their control, and because of this, they prefer to be directed as it best fits their beliefs. The fourth follower characteristic is self-perceived level of taskability. Simply put, this is the ability level the follower believes they can perform at for the specific task. Anderson suggests that this characteristic negatively correlates with directive leadership. The reason being that the more a follower is empowered and skilled, the less need for leader control. Because of this, the achievement-oriented leadership style would work best with these followers, as it will continue to empower them to grow professionally and reach higher skill levels. To help you better understand how situations can affect the leadership behavior, I have included this chart from the leadership experience. This chart shows 4 different situations that can occur, then what the correct leadership behavior would be and how that behavior will impact the followers. For example, if the situation is that the follower lacks self-confidence, the appropriate leader behavior would be to employ supportive leadership. Because supportive leadership helps build trust among your followers and shows them that you care as a leader, the follower will have increased confidence to achieve the work outcome. Ultimately, when the correct leader behavior is used, you can see that all situations eventually lead to increased effort and improved satisfaction and performance. Now, as with any theory, there are strengths and weaknesses that can be found. The path goal theory is no exception to this. I will first discuss the strengths of this theory. The first strength is that because this theory is reward based, there is increased motivation toward completing the personal and organizational goals. Another strength is that there is a strong focus on development of employees. For example, by using the directive leadership style, a leader can develop newer employees on how day-to-day tasks are accomplished. Another example is by using achievement-oriented leadership, a leader can develop already skilled employees into highly skilled employees. The third strength of this theory is that with only two paths, deciding what path to take is fairly straightforward. In other words, a leader can easily diagnose what needs to be done to motivate their followers. For example, if a follower simply lacks motivation to complete the task, the leader can quickly diagnose this as needing to increase the rewards. Along with the strengths, there are also a couple weaknesses to this theory. The first weakness being that some leaders simply may not be able to change their leadership behaviors to match situations. This is a common weakness to any contingency theory and can affect leaders who are stuck in their ways. The other weakness to this theory is that certain situations can require more than one leadership style, so the leader must look deeper to decide what the best course of action is. For example, Anderson shows that ambiguous tasks can be led through directive leadership, participative leadership, and achievement-oriented leadership. Because of this, the leader must also figure out the group member characteristics to decide what the best leadership behavior is for the situation. Now, when reading through the various leadership theories, the path goal theory stood out to me the most because it is the one that I use the most in my daily work. As part of my position, I work with distributor sales reps to help sell tires. These distributor sales reps, or DSR for short, are the sales reps of large distributors that we sell our tires to, who in turn sell the tires to smaller retailers. The goal of working with these DSRs is to get them to sell as many of our tires to retailers as possible, because the more tires they sell to retailers, the more tires they're buying from us. The issue is that these DSRs are also responsible for selling other brands such as Goodyear, Michelin, and Bridgestone. It is because of this that I use the path goal theory to motivate the DSRs to sell more of my tires. One way that I do this is by having a program for the DSRs that incentivizes them to sell more of my tires. This is a monetary reward that pays the DSR a set amount per tire that they sell as long as they grow their overall book of business by 5% every year. The reason that this works is because these DSRs are very reward driven. Therefore, it is easy to show them what the ultimate goal is and what the path is to reach it. I also believe that this matches the path goal theory because it requires me to change my leadership style based on the DSR that I'm working with. Newer DSRs are often freshly into the business and aren't as educated on tires and sales. So I use more of a directive style of leadership. I will tell them how to sell our tires and what they need to do to receive the payouts. With seasoned DSRs, I often use more of a participative leadership style. This is because these DSRs have been in the business for a long time and are well aware of all the different brands and what type of incentive they receive for each brand. By using participative leadership, I can gather better ideas to incentivize these DSRs to work harder and sell more of our tires.